Good morning and howdy, folks. Welcome to Turnaround Tuesday with Greenhammer Trading. I'm Josh, and I'll be walking you through our pre-market analysis to point you in the right direction for the trading day. This is a condensed version of what we do every day in our community Discord. So be sure to head over to greenhammertrading.com, sign up, and get a front row seat to what we do. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in here. So with the SPY, yesterday we closed above our value area low for the month, which was at the time pretty bullish. It looked like a nice reversal was being put in. Then overnight, I believe some news came out, China and Fitch ratings, they're threatening to downgrade U.S. banks like JP Morgan. For whatever reason, there's a little bit of a sell-off there. So right now, we just had retail sales come out. Pretty muted reaction, although very strong numbers. So let's see. So yeah, where we're at right now is at the bottom of the weekly Val zone, and that's over here on your top right. And it's just kind of hanging out there by a thread. We haven't quite made a brand new low, which is interesting. So the way they're going to try to open this up is at the bottoms of these value zones. So we've got on your bottom left-hand corner, the weekly val zone at the bottom. We have the monthly, and we have the daily right here in the middle. So you see a bunch of traffic at 446. We know that yesterday we were pretty close to the highs around 448, which would correspond to about 4,500 on the ES futures. And really that was just kind of a kind of a magnet of its own. And yesterday with not a whole lot of news coming out, there was just the zero DTE folks were just pushing that right on up. So now that we have retail sales out, and that's a pretty high impact event, we'll see how they want to open it. But the major volume is right here at 446. And for us to be bullish, we'd like it to clear 447 at the very least and see some conviction through 448 all the way back up to the top of the zone, which would be about 448.9 or 449. It's going to be interesting. We do have cash carry from the Fed coming out around 10 a.m. So we could see some whippiness until after he's done speaking. It might pick a direction. So, right now our bias is somewhat short, since on the low time frames we've got, some downtrending action here. We might look to short right up here at 446. If we clear that, then we'll rethink it, but we would like to see a reaction here. So at the moment, low time frames, not looking great. We also have some consolidation squeezes here on the 4 hour. So I think that's just waiting for the FOMC minutes tomorrow. So I expect some ranging action today. All right, so let's go to the Qs. Qs are looking a little bit better after NVIDIA's rip yesterday. A lot of the tech companies are really holding up nicely. We are above our weekly val zones. We hit a VPOC yesterday at 364 in your top left-hand corner. These are pretty natural bounce zones. And the fact that we've got this steady sell program that's been happening over the last couple of weeks, maybe this is a point where we start bouncing and start breaking through this. If you look in the middle on the top, this consolidation pattern here, maybe not. But in order for us to know, we've got to clear this 370 with some conviction and start breaking through these levels. If we're just hanging on at the bottom and we're touching these points of controls and rolling over, that's not a good sign. They're selling off. So these are institutions here, and the way they react to those levels is what they're trying to do. And at this point, if we're staying above 368, then okay, we're all right with that. We could be a little bit bullish once we start clearing up 369. But if we're hitting these points of controls and we're bouncing pretty convincingly, we know they're just selling off, and they're using this as liquidity to sell off. So that's what we're looking at there. Why don't we take a look at NVIDIA, since it has been kind of going crazy. So from almost 400 all the way up to 446, incredible move. Just wow. And the reason it did is, you see these VPOCs it's hitting, and then it hit its weekly bottom of value and just jumped. So I think a lot of people are waiting on 400. Plenty of institutions were looking to front run that. There was some positive news with Saudi Arabia looking to get into a lot of AI chips and doing some massive buying. So, everyone's just kind of falling over each other, trying to get in on NVIDIA, and boy, did it rip very nicely. But where we're at now is actually a pretty interesting spot. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, we are at the bottom of the monthly val zone. And the way they want to open up this will be interesting, because, if we keep ripping, we could go to 455. 466, we can keep going. But these usually are pretty sensitive, these areas. So we could see a nice little retrace and then bounce, or we could just stay sideways. There's a lot of traffic here. So if we look at 434, would we expect it to get that low? Maybe. A lot of volume there. Maybe 438 would be reasonable, but we do expect a little bit of a bounce here at the 444, 445 zone. All right. So let's take a look at Apple. Apple is now consolidating. You can see it on the top middle. We've got sideways action here. It means we're either accumulating or distributing. I would think that we're accumulating here. It's had a very nice retrace from a very long-winded move, probably close to 40, 50%. So you can see a small consolidation zone here, which they're just keeping the price right around here, and they're just piling in. You can see all the volume around here. And at the moment, if we start breaking through this 179 up to 180, we could start seeing some more action back up to the 180, 190 zones. But, this looks like a bit of a bear flag at the moment. But let's see this. So we'd like to maybe consolidate a little bit more and then start to see a retrace back up. In order to do that, we have to start clearing these institutional levels, which is probably around 180. So at the moment, sideways action, probably want to stay away from it. So let's look at Tesla. And Tesla is looking very systematic sell-off here. And it's starting to bottom out just a bit. Still a little bit bearish, but looks like the move has been extended, and we filled a gap at around 234. And boy, did it bounce right off of that. So once we start clearing 240 and we start doing that with some conviction, staying above the point of control here, we could see a bounce all the way to 243, all the way up to 245. So that could be the next stops there. 241 also is a pretty strong level there. So not quite bullish on this yet, but if you're looking for reversals, that's what I would be looking for. It drops down 237. You could say, all right, it's going to head back down to 234, 233, and then 232. Okay. And let's see, what do we have on the easy mode? Of course, we've got NVIDIA. We'll be taking a look at that. We've got Expedia, which is looking pretty good after a massive sell-off. This must have been after earnings. So it's just doing a typical retrace. coming right back up here, maybe about 50%. Yeah, until we start clearing 113, not really interested. And we've got First Solar, just another humongous move. And again, it's jumping off these institutional levels. It took off the weekly and monthly point of control and just never looked back yesterday. I mean, that was a massive move. Almost, what do we got here? 15, 16 points in one day, no drawdown. Incredible. One of the more systematic moves I've seen in a while. It just kind of levitated. It was pretty nuts. Anyways, so First Solar is still on the list. We've got some point of control issues at 211. Wouldn't mind seeing a retrace, then a bounce. So we'll be checking out those levels. Anything else? We've got BLDR. We know that DR Horton was in the news yesterday with Warren Buffett jumping in. This is a sympathetic move here with Builder. They've been rock solid for quite a while. Everything looking very bullish there. We just need to clear 152, then we can get to 154, then 155. Set your stops down here below 149. That's some of the easy mode lists. If you want to check out more, obviously come check us out on the website. So that'll be just about it from me. If you like this, comment on Twitter or X or any of our social channels. Be sure to check us out at greenhammertrading.com, sign up for our community, and take your trading to the next level. We have a trading course for day trading, which is called Valkyrie, and highly recommend it if you are currently struggling and looking for an edge. Best of luck today, and may the market odds be with you.